What really makes us better people is our capacity to question the status quo to achieve positive change. If you are seeking to adopt new habits, to learn about a kind lifestyle, low-waste living, and speaking up for justice, you have come to the right place. Together, we will make the switch that will light up this world. I'm Morgan, and I'm happy to welcome you on this journey. Beautiful souls, welcome to this next episode of the Positive Switch podcast. I'm really happy to welcome you today for another topic. I think by now we might have all heard the saying that vegans are either misleading or misinforming. I can understand in some ways why someone would do that. But also what I want to explain in this episode is that there are many ways to counter this saying, this argument. And I will basically go through all of this in this episode today. So first, I tried to figure out what could be misleading or misinforming in the behavior or in the outreaches of vegans, especially in the area, in the field of vegan activism. Well, I think it's all our responsibility to check to make sure that the content we are giving to the bypassers on the street, the information that we are sharing, is accurate. But that's if we are wanting to give information that is based on facts and numbers, figures. And sometimes it could happen that you're not properly informed about what you're saying. You haven't the source of your information, and maybe you're not able to give the source of your information on the spot when the person asks for it. And therefore, that's why I would encourage every single vegan, activist or not, to talk about purely and only ethics when it comes to veganism. Veganism is mainly about the animals. That's why most of us became vegan. And why should it be purely, mainly about the animals? Well, in the first place, it just is purely evident. It's obvious to me that we are standing up on the street and speaking up for the animals, because as we are speaking, they are the ones being oppressed. They are the victims. They are the ones who are undergoing a massive amount of suffering, and they're granted no rights whatsoever. They're granted almost no attention. As a human being, when anything happens to us, we have rights. We can defend ourselves. We have people who can speak up for us. We can speak for ourselves, but the animals can't, or at least they try. They try to tell you that they're suffering. They try to tell you that sometimes that they're confused or that they're sad. You can clearly see it. And if you have animal companions at home, I'm sure you might have experienced it as well. You might have felt that at some point your cat or your dog was feeling a bit low, a bit down, that they would be feeling a bit guilty or ashamed if they did something wrong and they knew it was wrong. So yeah, we don't even have to discuss that. Animals do feel pain, and that's the reason why we have to stand up for them on the street. But yeah, what I want to emphasize here, why you have to talk about ethics first, is because animal abuse is the core problem. It's at the root of other problems that are consequences, such as health issues and climate change. But your focus when you're doing vegan street activism, your focus is not to talk about climate change, it's not to talk about health, it's to talk about the victims. And for you to maybe to be able to better grasp what I'm saying, just picture yourself in the animal situation. You have been bred into existence without even without wanting to be born. You have been living in weeks or maybe just days, a couple of hours, in shit, in urine, in vomit. You might have felt sick, you might have been wounded, you have been beaten, you're about to have your throat slit, you're about to have your body chopped into thousands of different pieces for someone to stuff their face with, then shit you in the toilet and flush you down the toilet. And you have no say in this, no right whatsoever. You're doomed to have this life, and there's nothing you can say or do that will save you from this. So what do you think now is really important to talk about? Okay? And that's when you're going to talk about this issue that's been going on for so long. When you're going to talk about the animal abuse and hold people accountable for their actions and tell them that they're responsible for this, and that the only way to stop being a hypocrite and the only way of not abusing animals is to go vegan, that's where you cannot be misleading, you cannot be misinforming, because that's purely the truth that when people finance, invest, pay for someone to be tortured, to be abused, exploited, to be murdered, they are responsible for this. It's just a fact. And I've explained it in other episodes as well. Just like if I murdered someone by myself, that would be a crime. It would be just as much a crime if I paid someone to kill that person. So we're exactly in the same situation, and when we're telling people the truth about what they're doing, about their actions, we are not misleading them, we are not misinforming them. So yeah, if you want to avoid to mislead people, if you really want to use some facts, maybe in like really small quantity, don't focus on the ethics, focus on animal abuse, focus on what's happening on the videos. If you want to give some weight to that, do it with just spare, like don't use many facts and only use what you're certain about. Now, where this saying that vegans are misinforming, misleading becomes really like freaking ludicrous, absurd, is when we have the footage, when we're showing people this footage. Well, by now we know those videos are undercover videos. So what could be it just couldn't be further from the truth to say that those videos are misleading, that they're misinforming, that they're extreme, and they don't show all the different sides. It's just a pure joke, because just picture it. Those videos, they're showing people who are working, doing what they do every day. Only they don't know they're being filmed. So it couldn't be more objective. These people don't know they're being filmed. It basically shows how they go on about with the animals during the day and night. It shows them abusing animals. Footage from slaughterhouse. How could it be misleading? We all know what happens in the slaughterhouse, and that no animal comes out alive from a slaughterhouse. So it couldn't be misleading to show what happens in a slaughterhouse. And if so, if people tell you, no, but it's not that bad, like, tell them to go in a slaughterhouse. They will ask, they will probably get shut down, because, well, guess what? Nobody wants you to get in a slaughterhouse. Nobody wants you to see what happens there. And that's for a good reason. Because otherwise, most people, like Paul McCartney said, most people would be vegetarians if slaughterhouses had glass walls. So, this footage, it's objective. It couldn't be more objective. We're in no way misleading people when we show them what happens in the slaughterhouse or in any kind of farms. What can be misleading as misinforming is when non-vegans and mostly parents, when parents don't tell their kids that they're eating the dismantled bodies, corpses of animals. That is misleading. What is misleading and misinforming is putting a picture of a happy cow on a bottle of milk, or on cheese, or on a beef package, because there's nothing happy about a cow's life or a cow's death. Even if this cow has been pasturing, grazing on a pasture, there's nothing good about her life, knowing that she's not free, that she's being used for her reproductive system, that she's used to be violated, abused sexually. She is used to take her babies away so that people can drink milk or eat ice cream or eat cheese or yogurt or you name it. There's nothing happy about this. There will be nothing happy about this cow, even though she may have lived a quiet and peaceful kind of life. She still has been used. She still has been exploited. Her rights were violated, and she ends up in a slaughterhouse, not willingly, and she has her throat slit. There's nothing more misinforming than parents not explaining that to their children and feeding them the results of this violence, the result of this suffering. When it comes to misleading and misinforming, we have to look at who are the real actors in this. Who are the people who are not showing the behind the scene? Who are the people who are really guilty for not informing consumers properly? How comes that we're not telling people that what they're putting in their body is what's causing them to develop cancer or heart disease, obesity, diabetes, and the list goes on and on. This is misleading. This is not informing the consumers. It's violating the rights of the consumers to have accurate information. So now I think you have a broader picture of what I meant with this. If you are a vegan activist and you're going on the street, or even from at home, you're doing activism and sharing content, please be really truthful and just talk about animal abuse. If you are vegan, you're vegan for the animals, and the animal, all the animals are asking for is to be defended. All they're asking for is, at the end of the day, not to have their throats slit, not to end up chopped up into pieces and to be eaten by someone and then shit in the toilet and flush down the toilet. Like, what? No one deserves this. So please make sure to focus on the ethic, and I wish you a beautiful rest of your day. Get in touch with me to give me your feedback. Please share this episode if you think it would be relevant for anyone in your surrounding. And stay tuned for the next episode. Bye.